Greetings, everyone. Thank you all for taking the time to join us for this year's ASPB Meet the President-elect Candidates webinar. In this live event, you will be able to ask questions and learn more about our candidates' plan for leading ASPB into the future. By getting involved in ASPB and voting in our elections, you are helping to shape the future of the society and the plant science community as a whole. We really appreciate you being here. Before we begin, I'd like to go over a few technical details. If you are experiencing issues, let us know about those using the chat box or emailing me at jpadilla@aspb.org. Please note that we are recording this webinar and we plan to post a video within the next few days. If you have questions for our candidates, please add them to the question and answer box. There is an option to upvote questions that the other attendees have posted to indicate that you're also interested in hearing about the particular topic. You can do this by clicking the thumbs up. I'd like to encourage you to use this feature as it helps our moderator determine which questions are of most interest to our audience. Teysa Robelo-Schley is with us today to navigate your questions and moderate our discussion. Teysa is a postdoctoral researcher in the Biodiversity and Biostatistics Department of Sao Paulo State University. She joined ASPB's Ambassador Program to help expand the scientific collaboration and communication between Brazil and the world. Thank you for moderating today's event, Teysa. Now I'm going to hand it over to you to start the discussion.
Thank you, Jason. It's an honor for me to be here today. Hello, everyone, and I thank you for joining us today. As Jason shared, please post questions in the Q&A box so that I can prompt the candidates. I first want to start by briefly introducing the candidates. First, I want to introduce Hong Ma. Hong Ma is a professor of biology at Pennsylvania State University. Our next candidate is Z. Jeffrey Chen. Jeffrey is the D.J. Sibley Centennial Professor of Plant Molecular Genetics at the University of Texas at Austin. Before we begin with the Q&A, I want to invite our candidates to each share a brief opening statement. First, I would like to invite Hong Ma. Please, Hong.
Thank you, Teysa. Thank you, Jason, and both of you for organizing this event. And thanks to Jeff for joining me in this forum to meet with our membership and to share our enthusiasm in our interest to serve the ASPB society and its membership. So I have been a member of ASPB for over 20 years, and I work on plant development and evolution. Through my research and my interaction with faculty and students and other ASPB members, I have come to realize the importance of ASPB in its role to serve the plant community, to help facilitate interaction among our members, to help educate the younger generation of plant biologists, and also to outreach to non-plant biologists in business, in government, in society. So with this understanding at this time in our society and in our country, even in the human society globally, I think Jeff and I share the sense or the urgency even of our role in promoting plant biology and in reaching out to both our members and non-members to not only talk about the importance of plant biology, but to increase mutual understanding and to reduce misunderstanding and misinformation, and to help particularly our younger generation to become successful in this profession and in their career, and in our joint effort to help contribute to better better society, a better human society, and a more harmonious human society that's integrated to nature more than perhaps many other professional society. Our society work with plants, and plants are so important in ecosystem and biodiversity that we are faced with on a daily basis the challenge to both protect the ecosystem and biodiversity, but also to efficiently and properly use the resources that are our world, bestowed on the humans. So I think we want to thank this opportunity to meet with some of our members, and through the recording to share our, you might say, our vision, our goals in our own ways to promote plant biology, the ASPB and all its members, and also contribute to a better world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hong. And now our final president-elect candidate, Z. Jeffrey Chen. Jeffrey, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Taser, and everyone on the webinar, and also those that are not on the webinar. So I am the professor of plant molecular genetics at the University of Texas at Austin. I'm happy to be as a president-elect candidate, along with Hong Ma, to participate in this process. I first became a member of SPB when I was a postdoc. After becoming a faculty member, I joined the society for nearly 2 decades. We publish our papers in the plant cell, plant physiology, and I'm an active and a fair reviewer or frequent reviewer of the 2 society journals. I have been active member of the Science Policy Committee for about 4 years to voice ASPB's support to the congressional leaders and staff to increase the funding for plant sciences from NSF, USDA, DOE, and NIH. As the future leader, I will work with all members, including leadership committee groups, to make ASPB as a forum inclusive for all members. And the ASPB, as you know, is at turn of centennial anniversary. So it's time for us to think about the strategic plan for the next 5 years, 10 years, even next century, to address the global challenges in plant biology and to outline our missions and visions in the front of global challenges such as food security, climate change, and human health. So I'll be open-minded, forward-looking, and I will answer all the questions that you may have in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. So to kick off the Q&A session, I would like to start by asking the first question, and I will ask Hong to respond first. So the question is, what do you think are the biggest challenges that ASPB and the plant biology community will face over the next 10 years? And how will you, as a president, work to make sure ASPB is poised to facing those challenges for the organization and for the community that it serves?
Thank you very much. So as I touched on, so obviously you are asking the challenges in the future years, near future years. And Jeff mentioned a couple of things in terms of challenges facing plant science. But ASPB is a society that represents members who are at various stages of career development in their in the plant science field. So in addition to the daily work they do to contribute to plant science in multiple ways, this is a society, I think one of the major challenges is to continue to increase diversity, equality, and inclusion. There has been great progress, especially in recent years, that we can all see, and there are lots of activities organized by ASPB. In my own experience, working with increased diversity, equity, and inclusion needs to begin earlier than graduate school, because at the undergraduate level, we are in need of preparing students who are interested in plant biology and plant science, who are interested in developing a career in this area. So we need to extend further. We also need to extend into K-12 education to expand our outreach. For example, if ASPB could expand its outreach, for example, by working with people with NSF support that has an outreach component, a broader impact component. At Penn State, there is an Office of Outreach that develop programs and structure support for people with NSF proposals to help them expand their outreach. So I believe ASPB already do a lot, but it's mainly with its membership. If we could collaborate with NSF and university programs to expand the reach and have, so today's high school student in 10 years will be plant biologists, will be new blood for our society. So this might be a challenge that we could try to address. The other thing is people who are already in graduate school as postdoc or young faculty member, how do we do better to help them succeed in their career? There are a lot of university programs that help mentor students and postdocs. And we know ASPB also does its share, but I think more coordination might make things more efficient. I think there are a lot of individual efforts and each reach a subset of our membership. And if we could develop a collaboration or a network of people who are in the same effort, we may make the resources more used by more people. So the challenge is to help our membership to develop a stronger, even stronger ASPB society. The society cannot be a society without its members. And the leaders are doing quite well. Jeff mentioned, and I am also interacting with leaders, but leaders are a very small number of people in the society. They are important, but we need to do more with our membership, general membership, and even beyond our current membership. Let's see, am I time up? I don't, anyway, so let's see. Okay, thank you.
Jeffrey, would you need me to restate the question?
You may.
Okay, so just as a reminder, the question was, what do you think are the biggest challenges that ASPB and the plant biology community will face over the next 10 years? And how will you as president work to make sure ASPB is poised to face those challenges for the organization and for the community that it serves?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. And I think our society, including ASPB, facing a lot of challenges. But I will outline the three things that we can do as a society to understand these challenges and to come up with a strategy to deal with it. The first and foremost is the food security, climate change, and the human health. We should communicate these challenges as a society to the broader community and the membership to rally our support and to increase funding for both basic and the translational research for agriculture, sustainable environment, and human nutrition and health. I think the second challenge we face is to increase the membership, and especially we need a new blood to ASPB. We should attract younger generations of scientists, including undergrad and graduate students and postdocs from domestic, international, and diverse socio-economic backgrounds to pursue careers in plant biology. And lastly, I think we need to mind the communication gap between ASPB and the general public. Every one of us, all the members, should get involved in public awareness of science, such as issues like GMOs and digital agriculture, to distinguish scientific findings from misinformation or disinformation in the digital age. Thank you.
Thank you both. So now the next question is from our audience. And for these questions, for this question, I would like to ask Jeffrey to respond first. And the question is, do you have thoughts about whether we might need to change ASPB's dues structure to promote inclusion? And if so, what kind of change might you recommend?
This is a very good question. I would say the inclusion, diversity, and equality, ASPB has done quite a lot in the past 5 or 10 years. And I view that as a strength. And in the current political environment, we should include membership from both domestic and international participations. As we know, 40% of membership is international or outside of the US. So we should have a venue or forum or program to attract the membership from not only the US, but also outside of the US through the program, scientific programs, as well as outreach and the different subcommittees for doing so.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Hong, are you aware of the question, or do
Yes.
you need me to repeat?
Yes.
Okay, so then just go ahead.
So this is very important. As we make a greater effort to increase diversity, we recognize one of the diversity is people with different economic background, in addition to other aspects of diversity. And we know at universities, there are various funding mechanisms to support undergraduate students and graduate students who have financial difficulties. We also know ASPB has launched a program to provide membership waivers for people with financial hardship. But I think these two, again, it's because I work at Penn State, and I know Jeff also work at a major university with a lot of plant biologists. We continue to promote inclusion both at the society and at the university level. And I was wondering if we could work with, let's say, land-grant university to start, which have lots of faculty and students who are members of ASPB, but we can reach more people, is to develop components of scholarship that promote plant biology. For example, plant biology for undergraduate student, plant biology for graduate student, fellowships. They have a small amount of money that may support them, a small amount of personal funds or research funds. If there is a small percentage of that gives them 1 year of membership, that also allow them attendance of the ASPB annual conference, this might be a good program to promote more people. And it doesn't necessarily increase the financial burden of the society. And the ASPB could provide educational activity to these students. It could be developed into part of those scholarships, that it becomes part of the educational component of the scholarship, because ASPB conference is a really valuable educational experience. And they can also get maybe discount for journals, for example, if they are interested. Things like that may be developed. So I'd be interested in working with the leadership, and we may even get industry sponsorship for such educational program that can also increase diversity at the same time, reducing the financial burden for some of our younger members.
Thank
So
you both.
Tessa,
Yes,
Tessa, can I add one more point to
Yeah.
attract the membership from outside of US? We can probably consider a location, the conference location that will be accessible easily by international attendees. For example, a place like Hawaii or Mexico or even Brazil. However, that will increase the travel cost. As a home mentioned, that we can perhaps, do some program development to attract the potential donors or industry partners to increase some of the funding or support for this type of supporting, especially to the people who are needed, who need those funds to attend the conference. Anyway, thank you.
thank you. Do you want to shortly comment on what Jeffrey commented, Hong?
Yes, there is
Very shortly.
interest in having some of the meetings in locations that are not as costly as major cities in the US, where the hotel tend to be more expensive. Yeah, having a meeting in a foreign country is also worth considering. There probably, like Jeff said, needs a little bit more sponsorship for some of the members to attend that. I think that these are worth looking into and putting some effort to make that happen. Usually, if you have a meeting in another country, the local population, the local plant biologist will get a great opportunity to attend in person. Another way is to try to continue to have in-person and Zoom hybrid meetings for people who may not have the time or the funds to travel to attend the talks via Zoom.
Thank you both. So more or less going on this direction, we have one more question from the audience. And for this one, I would like to start with Hong. And the question is, supporting the things that ASPB does for the plant biology community is difficult to fund with membership dues. Do you have ideas for additional funding sources to support ASPB activities?
Yes, there are several ways we can look into. One is, I mentioned, industry. ASPB is really a valuable resource. It has a wide reach, not only domestic, but also international members. And for many years, ASPB journals has been a major revenue generator. Now with collaboration with Oxford, that model has changed. So one way is to look to collaborate with industry, not a simple donation from industry, but perhaps collaborate where some of the interests are shared. For example, when I was Associate Dean for Research in our University College of Science, we know that industry very much are interested in collaborating with society and universities to develop their outreach, because industry also need to have outreach for their efforts. So there is a place where collaboration can occur. And ASPB meeting is a major venue for reach. There is a lot of sponsor already, and you have these booths you can visit, and they talk about their companies, but we need probably more regular activities besides the annual meeting. Another way is to collaborate with nonprofit organizations and foundations. Some of them support research programs. I wonder if they could also have a component where SPP does very well. SPP does well compared to individual scientists because it has such a wider reach through its membership. So like I mentioned about NSF funded project could have a component that involve SPP, but industry funded research, foundation funded research may also have those components. If we work with scientists, our own members, when they develop research project to see how about working with ASPB and develop this component, and we can try to get support from various sources. And another way is advertisement, just pure advertisement. A lot of online programs or activities have advertisement. That might be one way to look into in the digital age.
Jeffrey, do you need me to restate the question or are you good to go?
I am good to go on this one.
Okay.
So I just want to say two things. One is, it is essentially extremely important to attract new members, especially those who cannot afford the membership dues. As I experienced when I was a postdoc, I joined the society, but I went away partly because of the dues. So I think it is an important factor for some of the members, younger members, who cannot join the society. So I will propose to have a kind of award, a bulk of award membership competition, for about, say, 500, just put up a number there. And then raise the support from industry or some other sources to support that, to basically provide free 500 membership dues for the society. Those who are undergraduate students, graduate students will be on the priority list. Those who cannot afford the dues will be on the list. And each of them will have applied to this membership, and they write an essay why they want to join the society, why they think they can contribute to the society, and then we will have a committee to select 500 awards to the membership. I believe that will help the society to attract the younger generations of scientists, including undergrad students, graduate students, people who are living outside of the US who are difficult to pay the membership dues. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay, add something, just like a half a minute.
Okay, just go
Yeah,
ahead. And
I
then
want to add to a possibly encourage younger members to help contribute to some of the society's outreach by having so they would actively contribute to, for example, by meeting with high school student or elementary student in promoting some of the recent findings in plant biology, let's say papers published in Plant Cell, Plant Phys. And doing that, they get a discount or free membership of the society. For example, they can sign up for a list of activities they would do over a year's period, maybe once every other month. Something like that we could develop a program where young members can contribute and receive benefits from the society. Thank you.
Jeffrey, would you like to quickly add something else to your answer, as I allowed Hong to make?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Can be part of that process, to allow especially first authors of a paper that's published in the Plant Cell and the Society journals, Plant Cell, Plant Physiology, and Plant Direct. Allow them to join the membership for a reduced fee or even for free. That's a good idea.
Sure. Thank you both. So our next question came to us by email. It's from our audience. And I would like to ask Jeffrey to respond first. And the question is, there seems to be an enormous commercial value of plants in our daily lives. Yet, when people buy products like Coca-Cola, for example, they are not aware that the plastic bottle was made from bioplastic derived from wood chips. We are seeing plant-based plastic products emerge everywhere in the marketplace today. Yet, there is very little marketing material available to show the origin of these plastics when customers buy the products. Therefore, the question is, do you think that ASPB has the potential to link current grant holders from government agencies and universities with product brands to market plant science in a commercial way with some monetary return to grant holders and ASPB?
That is a great question. And also is a great challenge every one of us face today in terms of plastic pollution and environmental safety issues. I believe the society need to think about an overall strategy, how to solve the issues related to the public relations and the advertisement. That will also, help to pay for the open access journals, the fees that we need to come up with to pay for our publications. And I would propose to have a strategic plan or work with an advisory committee to come up with some of the important visionary documents that can help the society to solve these challenges. So a subcommittee like advertisement and also the business model probably can be introduced as a part of open access journal, because the advertisement and all the business can be relatively easily done than the printed journal. So that would be my idea just came to my head, is basically to have a business model in the SPB and then to raise the money and the funds to support and these kind of activities, as well as to do public relations to communicate how important it is in our society, use plants as renewable sources for petrochemical derived products. Myself has a personal interest, I'm a cotton genomist, so I work on cotton fiber. It's the largest renewable textile fiber in the world, and we are in a strong competition with the petrochemical derived synthetic fibers. So I think along the same line, the society can have a new perhaps subcommittee or committee group that to mainly involved in advertisement and business models to solve some of these needs in terms of public relations, as well as fundraising to support the society journals, and also to raise the public awareness of plant sciences to the global community and the society. Thank you.
Yes, that's a really good question. I think I want to make 3 points. One, when it comes to interaction with industry, I want to amend what I said. We definitely need to do like Jeff said, business model, it needs to be obviously beneficial to our society and the members, but also we need to really consider ethics of all of this. So it's not simply for profit kind of effort. That's very important. For example, we want to work with industry who share our values, who promote diversity, for example, and who promote protection of the global ecosystem. These kinds of values, we want to assess those aspects. Second thing is that when it comes to renewable material, plant-based material in various industry, there are two aspects. One is to educate the general public that it may not be obvious for these material, but they contain renewable material, plant-based material. That's an educational outreach effort. That's a fact-based, that may not give us financial benefit directly, but it will help general public to have a better understanding of the importance of plant-based research. And in the long run, it should benefit plant biology, plant science, ASPB, and its members. And the more near-term direct interaction with industry to, as the question alluded, can there be some arrangement where research can be supported in part by having information or interactions with industry that uses plant-based renewable material? That part is quite specific. I think it needs to be reviewed case by case. And obviously it would require industry's positive response if we interact with them and see if they would be interested in working with us. It's definitely worth exploring as part of a general strategy to develop partnership with industry. There have been long-term efforts for some parts of plant biology in cooperation or supported by industry. So that's always been the case. So this might be a new aspect of that. Thank you.
Thank you both. So we have one more question from the audience that just came up. And I would like to start with Hong. So the question is, how will you increase the endowment of ASPB to ensure financial stability in the future?
Can you repeat, how would I increase?
How will you increase the endowment, the donations?
Endowment, yeah.
Endowment.
Great,
of
yes, thank you,
ASPB?
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. This would be part of a general effort to, in a sense, do fundraising for the society. Yes, endowment is quite important. We know it is a essential part of higher education in the US and perhaps in other countries. There are definitely people who have resources, have the financial abilities to support plant biology. And many of them have supported plant research, plant biology education in universities. I am keenly aware of that. So Jeff is a holder of an endowed chair. I am a holder of endowed chair. All of these are a part of that. So how do we leverage the tradition, the strength, the efforts of ASPB to interact with potential donors is really, perhaps a lot of donors don't realize what the kind of work we do, the ASPB does, and more interaction with them is needed. Now, university may not want to share their donor resources. They want to obviously continue to expand, but so we need to have independent efforts. But I believe there's a huge strength in the people that the ASPB membership already interact with. The need is to develop a continuous effort to secure in addition to endowment, which might traditionally people think from individual or families or sometimes companies who are interested in support ASPB activities, there may be a public or small donor funding in this digital age. We know political campaign has already been successfully using such effort, and individual research or individual efforts aimed at various goals have success. So I don't know specifically where ASPB have a mechanism for small donors to contribute. When large number of people contribute to such funding mechanism, it could still be substantial. So that's another way to get funding from general public. If they share the vision of ASPB, they want ASPB to continue to do their work. This could be one way. Thank you.
Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think that is an important area for the SPB to further or to enhance or improve our effort. In my view, I will work with the board of directors and also the SPB leadership committee to identify the list of potential donors, industry partners, and all resources that are available to us, and then to invite those people, to invite the friends and their families to attend our SPB conferences, and to give them a showcase what SPB and the science and technology and the students and the younger generation of scientists that we are doing can help solve the global challenges such as food security, sustainable environment and human health. I think an important thing that we need to do as a society is to make public aware what we are doing are not, something that happened in the ivory tower. It's actually down to the earth to solve the global problem, to improve the agriculture, to protect the environment, to enhance the human nutrition and health. So as long as we communicate this basic message to our friends, to our family members, to potential donors, to general public, I think that there will be people that are willing to put their resources on the table. And so one way to do that is to invite them to be, to invite them to be as a friends in our society, and let them to play some roles in our society and the future direction of the SPB missions and the visions. Thank you.
Thank you both. Our next question is, what impacts do you expect ASPB to have on plant science and plant scientists over the next 5 years? And for this one, I will start with Jeffrey.
Yeah, so this is a great question. I guess, we are asked for the longer term impact of the SPB Society at the beginning of this webinar. But for the next 5 years, in my view, I think we should develop a strategic plan. I don't know if we have one at the society. That can be done through an advisory committee, and especially in the term of the centennial anniversary for the SPB, it is important for us to examine or evaluate what we have done, what we have done to come at this stage, and what we need to do for the next 5 years or next 10 years or even the next century, and then to address all the issues that we are facing in terms of global issues like food security, environment, and the human health, as well as diversity, equality, and inclusion, and women in science, etc., etc. The second, I think, important is that we really need to energize the younger generation of scientists, including graduate students, undergraduate students, postdocs from national or domestic, international, and diverse social and economic backgrounds to encourage them to pursue careers in plant biology and agriculture. And the other aspect I think it's important is SBB has a traditional strength in fundamental biology. You know, one way we always put ourselves, distinguished from or away from other aspects of research like agriculture or USDA funded, activities. But I think as the science moves along, this distinction has become more and more intertwined. So we should basically transform some of our ideas in the traditional SPB missions to reach out, and how can we translate our basic discoveries to improve agriculture, to protect environment, and then to enhance human nutrition and health. And the basic mission is basically, to generate global impact. We cannot just do science for the sake of science. I mean, we need someone, we need all of us should do that. But we should also have to add another mission, is to do translation research, translate some of our basic science to for the agriculture and for the environment. Thank you.
Yes, this is a great question. So 5 years is actually not very long, but 5 years also is long enough to do something concrete to have a major impact. So again, ASPB is a professional society. It focuses on scholarship, dissemination, information through publication and meetings, and supporting the membership. So I look at this from a little bit slightly different angle. I think I agree with what Jeff said, but so let's say one of the challenges is climate change or climate change and the impact on agriculture and the global ecosystem. There is plenty of research on this, and the question is, how can ASPB take advantage of, on the one hand, the basic research that's available and integrate that information with people who are working at the forefront of agriculture and at the basic plant biology level, and come up with educational packages that will allow our younger membership to be aware and to be involved in this effort. Okay, so the second thing is the development of technology in support of research, not only basic research, but also applied research. For example, genomics, and Jeff is very familiar with it, I am very familiar with it, is moving forward at a really fast pace. And we have huge amount of information from many different crops, as well as model system and wild species. How do we tap into the resource and help people to understand it and help people to utilize it is a challenge that we should, as ASPB, because it has diverse expertise working on multiple aspects. So if we can organize concrete efforts to develop really useful informational packages for all our members, so we don't have to individual to read many papers to understand all the new advances and how they could be applied. This could be a service to our member, but also a important dissemination of information from basic research to applied research, okay? And another thing I already mentioned a couple of times is related to partnership with sectors of society, particularly getting funding, particularly in support of younger members, is a challenge that we should really work on and could have very positive impact in the next 5 years.
Thank you both. So our next question is, what do you see as the roles of scientific societies in the digital age? And Hong, I would like you to start answering this question, please.
Yes, so I don't have all the answers, okay, but I recognize that the digital age is here, okay? And as basic researchers, we are both generating information that are shared via digital mechanisms, but also we can do better of trying to take advantage of really advanced technology, okay? So I was given a very brief tour at Penn State of virtual world, virtual, you can basically go into a room and put on some devices and you're in a virtual world, right? But the virtual world takes effort to create, right? To take information, take computer. So when I do field work for my evolutionary work, for my biodiversity work, one of the most important interests is for me to see ecosystems, for me to see the plants that I study. Where do they grow? What are their neighbors? Okay, but it's very costly, very time consuming, okay? So the digital work can offer virtual plant work to anybody who have access to a facility on the university, or a more simplified version might be like a video game. You can wear a goggle and be able to see some aspect of it. I don't know whether ongoing effort are already developing. I think we need to work with like game companies or movie studios or things, people who are using technology for general entertainment, but incorporate scientific information. And this might be in need of support from NSF or industry. You know, it need to be like a project that some people can work together to develop. And this might actually help students, you know, high school student, elementary student, to get more interested in plant biology or plant science. For example, we have a lot more people who are interested in animals, mammals, birds, even butterflies and bees, because for some reason, it's traditionally just more outreach effort about these. Maybe because we are ourselves animals, we find ourselves closer to these groups of organisms. However, animals would not be here if there weren't any plants, okay? So we need an ecosystem with plenty of healthy plants to support the animals, and we need to make that very, very clear. So when I look at plants, I pay attention to what insect eat these plants. You know, milkweeds are very important for monarch butterflies, okay? So if you like monarch butterflies, you need to protect milkweeds. I don't know. I think I speak quite long. Thank you.
Just on time. Jeffrey?
Yeah, so I think that is a very interesting and also important area that we need to address. People like Hong and me are probably a bit outdated of the technology in terms of current, you know, AI chat stuff. But I think, you know, from the broad view, I would say that we should get everyone involved. By that, I mean is we need to motivate the members to communicate effectively, you know, in the digital age, that promoting science discoveries, as well as technology advancement, through the digital means, while preventing from disinformation or miscommunication. That's an important aspect of it. I think the second aspect is really we need to sit down and learn or educate ourselves and be technology savvy. By that, I mean that we can, work with, coordinate with other meetings or other societies and organizations to apply computational and bioinformatics tools to the traditional molecular biology research, and then to develop the computational tools for example, like phenotyping, trait prediction, and the digital agriculture. And I think lastly, I would say that every one of us should be responsible and friendly in the digital communication. We should communicate through our society for all the members to be responsible for what is posted and circulated. I would say think twice before anything is posted, because it can be instantaneously around the globe, and avoid or eliminate cyber bullies and digital rage. Sometimes that can cause a negative impact.
Thank you
Thank
both.
you.
Thank you both. And as we still have time for one more question, I would like to ask this last one. And the question is, what should ASPB do that it isn't doing already, and why? I would like Jeffrey to start, please.
Yeah, that's an excellent question that need us all of us to think about. In my view, the SPB has been doing great in all aspects of society activities. For example, in the diversity, equality, and inclusion areas, women in science, and digital communication, the Plante digital ecosystems for plant science. That's one of the emails I always read from the beginning to the end. So I think these have been doing really, really great. I can't think of any, if there's any that I think we should have for the next 5 years or in the near future, is, to me, it's important to develop a strategic plan. I think the reason is simple, because as a society, we can, especially in the term of the 100 years or centennial anniversary, we can learn a lot from what we have done before, and also we can make a strategic plan for what we can do better for the future. So I believe that will be an area that we all the members, the leadership committee groups, can work together to achieve our goals for the next 5 years, 10 years, and even next century. Thank you.
Yes. So I agree that ASPB has done very well. It's a society that is going to reach 100 years old, and it's successful in many of its goals. So it is hard to identify a single item that should have been done but not. I would say that greater effort, perhaps, in reaching out to younger generations and encourage them to think about what they can do to help all of us by becoming more knowledgeable of plants and possibly devoting more effort in this common interest of ASPB. They don't necessarily have to be a lifelong member of ASPB. You know, they could be a member for a couple of years and move to another career. That's fine. But involving more people, and they can still share their information while being associated with ASPB beyond that point. I think the time is almost over. Thank you.
Thank you both for answering really nice all the questions. It was a pleasure to be part of this webinar, and I wish for you both the best of luck during these elections. And now I want to turn the floor back to Jason to wrap up the event. Jason?
Yes, thank you to our president-elect candidates, Jeffrey and Hung, and a special thank you to our event moderator, Tessa. Also, a big thank you to all our attendees for joining and for being so involved and passionate about what we do. We will be posting this recording in the next few days, and I look forward to working with all of you in the future, and best of luck to all our candidates this year. To all our ASPB members, be sure to cast your vote by June 14th. You could do that by going to our membership website, or if you have your phone with you handy, you can go ahead and scan the QR code that you see on the screen. But other than that, thank you again and have a great rest of your week. And we hope to see you in Savannah, Georgia at our plant biology conference. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Both
Thank
Jason and
you.
Tessa.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
you.